Good morning, it's October 27th, and this is To My Liberal Friends. Well, if you listen to Democrats and liberals around the country, you would think that Donald Trump just murdered somebody. They're up in arms, expressing their outrage that Trump would have the temerity to make an attempt to change the White House and make it more functional. What Trump did was have them tear down the East Room of the White House. This is the small room where they hold state dinners. Having been to dinner in that room, I can assure you it's small and cramped. It holds less than 100 people. For most state dinners, they have to erect a large tent. That means there are no bathroom facilities, and so they bring in porta potties. Can you imagine attending a state dinner as a foreign dignitary and having to use that kind of facility? But the left is fully consumed with Trump derangement syndrome. Any action he takes is immediately vilified, and the left and their friends in the media have to denounce it. This is the case of his actions vis-a-vis the replacement of the East Room with a large ballroom that can hold significantly more people along with the appropriate facilities. And it's not like Trump has not talked and suggested something like this. In fact, Trump is doing exactly what he said he would do. He's building a beautiful ballroom so that large gatherings at the White House wouldn't have to be held under a tent. But somebody in the Democratic Central Committee pretended to canvass some focus group and decided that the engine of outrage could be primed with the Trump is desecrating this sacred public monument meme. I would also point out that for the past several decades, presidents have bemoaned the fact that the White House did not have a facility large enough to hold the type of dinners that are required by the president. That's every president. Suddenly the left is outraged that Trump would desecrate something they view as historical value. The people who suddenly became hypersensitive architectural preservationists have spent the last decade cheering on the people who tore down or desecrated important historical statues, smashed or ripped their solid artworks, and substitute their not just woke fantasies for the clear light of historical truth. Statues of Teddy Roosevelt, George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, they all tore them down. I was especially amused at the comments by Hillary Clinton. Hillary Clinton, you should know, better than to wax moralistic about anything to do with the White House, pretended to be outraged and posted, quote, "It's not his house, it's your house, and he's destroying it," end quote. This is the same woman that removed over $150,000 worth of furniture from the White House after leaving in January 2000 and had to be reminded it was not her furniture and forced to return it to the White House. And it's not like this the first time that renovations have been done to the White House. The White House itself posted a helpful timeline of significant renovations and events and residents through the years. By now, many of you will know that in 1902, Teddy Roosevelt added the West Wing to the White House. In 1909, William Howard Taft expanded the West Wing and added the original Oval Office. In the 1930s and 40s, FDR moved the Oval Office to its current location, built the East Wing, and added an indoor swimming pool, which he needed. FDR's successor, Harry S. Truman, gutted and totally rebuilt the interior of the White House. Richard Nixon converted the White House swimming pool into a press briefing room and added a bowling alley. Barack Obama, though part of the witch's course now, desecrated a tennis court to build a basketball court. During his presidency, Obama spent over $376 million in renovating parts of the White House. They were needed renovations and were done with bipartisan approval. Nobody got upset and nobody accused Obama of desecrating anything. But that's today, and Democrats suffering from TDS are thrown into orbit anytime someone accuses Trump of doing anything. If you have any doubts, I would refer you to the Washington Post, never to be confused with being a friend of Donald Trump. From their editorial page, they say, quote, "In classic Trump fashion, the president is pursuing a reasonable idea in the most jarring manner possible. Privately, many alumni of the Biden and Obama White Houses acknowledge the long overdue need for an event space like what Trump is creating. It's absurd that tents need to be erected on the South Lawn for state dinners and VIPs are forced to use porta potties." They then followed it up with a concise statement of truth. Quote, "The White House cannot simply be a museum to the past. Like America, it must evolve with the times to maintain its greatness. Strong leaders reject calcification. In that way, Trump's undertaking is a shot across the bow at NIMBYs everywhere," end quote. And then we have that intellect from California, Eric Swalwell, who has said it should be a litmus test for any Democrat running for president in 2028 that they would immediately tear down the ballroom. This is the same congressman that was romantically involved with a Chinese woman who was suspected of being a spy from Beijing. Now tell me exactly what would accomplish to tear the ballroom down after it's been built. But that's the Trump derangement syndrome that affects so many Democrats. And the real kicker, and this what must be so upsetting to Democrats, is that no taxpayer dollars are being used to build this ballroom. It's not the way the Democrats do things. They view tax dollars as their personal piggy banks, and having private donations fund this project sets a precedent they don't want to see set. You see, that would require raising money, and they're having difficulty doing that these days. Among other things, this week's Democratic exercise in feckless melodrama reminds us that all the political initiative is now with Donald Trump. It's not like the Democrats are wholly reactive, responding like Pavlov dog to any bell that Trump might ring. There's also the fact that Trump has consumed all the political oxygen available in the body politic. His MAGA agenda is shaping everything, from his peace initiatives on the world stage to his efforts on the border and with the economy and the cultural fabric of the country. All the Democrats have now is the screech of Elizabeth Warren and her tribe, remember her, Pocahontas, resounding like a gigantic set of fingernails drawn harshly across the blackboard of the nation's attention. It's horrible, disagreeable sound. No one heeds it. No one recoils from it. It's not much, but it's all the Democrats have now. And for Trump, build the ballroom. Future presidents will thank him. This has been To My Liberal Friends. Thanks for listening.